Hello Zimbabweans, how are you guys? Welcome to online lessons with Say John. As we said guys, we are making these videos specifically for you guys, for you Zimbabweans. So tichange tichiposta ma videos every Friday. Starting from today, this is our first lesson, our first online lesson. So tichatanga topic yema quadratics, tichata topic by topic, kubva kwekutanga kwesyllabus kusvika kuend kwesyllabus. Topic by topic, quadratics, inequalities, logarithms and indices, simultaneous equations, tichingoenda kusvika kumacheto kwesyllabus. So nhasi tiri kutanga netopic yema quadratics. So kuma quadratics guys, we have turning points which are either maximum or minimum depending on a which is the coefficient of x squared. As you know guys, my quadratic functions are in this form: ax squared plus bx plus c, where a is the coefficient of x squared. So this a, the coefficient of x squared, ndiyo inodetermine the nature of the turning point. If the coefficient of x squared, a, is negative, which means the graph is maximum. So if a is negative or is less than 0, the graph is a maximum. So the nature of the turning point is determined by a. If a is less than 0, we have maximum turning point. Then if a is greater than 0, we have a minimum turning point. So the graph would be like this: a greater than 0. So this, the coefficient of x squared, a here, ndio inodetermine the nature of the turning points. Ndio ma turning points at now quadratic, kuma quadratic functions, either minimum or maximum. Tisakuona guys mchidraw ma curves asinganzwisisike pama quadratic functions. We have these two types. So muchidi muchinotevera tichange tichikuintroduce the method of completing the square yatichange tichizoshandisa ku draw ma curves aya. Right guys, so these are the steps to follow when completing the square. So chekutanga kana complete a square, make sure a the coefficient of x squared here. Make sure the coefficient of x squared is 1. Then kana zadaro, then we can complete the square. Kana coefficient of x squared is still 1, you can't complete the square. Then step 2, add half the coefficient of x to the square. Then step 3, subtract b over 2 squared from the square. B over 2 squared, b is the coefficient of x, x squared plus bx plus c. So coefficient of x, which is b, half a coefficient of x, we add it to the square. So b over 2, we subtract it from the square and we add b over 2 to the square. Like given x squared plus 4x plus 6. Make sure the coefficient of x squared is 1. In this case, the coefficient of x squared is 1. So the next step, add half the coefficient of x to the square. Half a coefficient of x is b over 2. B over 2, we have to add to the square. So b over 2, in this case, b is 4. 4 over 2 is 2. So x plus 4 over 2 is 2 squared. Then subtract b over 2 squared from the square. Subtract b over 2 is 4 over 2 is 2 squared. Then this 6 anongodzoka kadaro, this constant anongodzoka kadaro plus 6. Ndo kunonzi kucomplete a square. So the answer will be x plus 2 squared minus 4 plus 6, which is x plus 2 squared minus 4 plus 6 is plus 2. Ndo the method of completing the square. So examples, we have these 3 examples. tione kuti tinoika sei. Saka zvatambodzidza zvezvia, we have this first example, x squared minus 6x plus 1. So my steps edu, the half of the coefficient of x in this case the 3, because coefficient of x is 6, so the half of minus 6 is minus 3. If we add minus 3 to the square, it's 8x plus minus 3 is minus 3 squared. Then we subtract half of coefficient of x from the square, minus 3 squared plus 1. This one we are going to kakadaro. Saka apa unokwanisa kuisa negative, zvako kana ngorika kuisa negative, because ukaisa negative yacho apa still uka square inozokuita positive. So x minus 3 squared, minus 3 squared is 9, minus 9 plus 1 is minus 8. So this is how we complete the square. So next example, yeah, in this case zvasiyana manje. Paipa yatanga tingoika dzine coefficient of x squared are 1. In this case coefficient of x squared is not 1, it's 2. So first stage ndiye ku factor out this kuti pasare 1 apa. To factor out 2 kuti pasare 1 kuti kwase ku complete a square. So zvatambotaura tino make sure kuti coefficient of x squared is 1. So now the first stage is to factor out 2. 2 open bracket x squared minus 4x minus 3. So first stage apana zvimwe zvaunomboita kungo factor 2 womira wakadaro, just factoring 2 wosiya zvakadero. Then kana maths yazara mukati yadai so manje, you can now complete the square because coefficient of x squared are 1. So method yatatingwa nayo takaorder 2 ari kunze, 2 square bracket, then to open a bracket to complete a square, x to add half a coefficient of x to the square. If we add minus 2 do half a coefficient of x, take add minus 2 apa into minus 2 squared, to subtract b over 2 squared from the square, then b over 2 is minus 2 squared, then minus 3 anogodzoka kakadaro, minus 3, right, then is equals to 2x minus 2 squared, minus 2 squared is minus 4 minus 3 is minus 7. So now we want to expand. Takuda kupinza 2 mukati. So kana kupinza 2 mukati, treat x minus 2 squared as a. For example, 2a plus b. We expand as 2a plus 2b. Right? So tango expand our bracket is usual. So ndozo unongoita panapo, just treat x minus 2 squared as a. Then you multiply x minus 2 squared times 2. You get 2x minus 2 squared. Then minus 7, we multiply on na 2. So minus 7 times 2 is minus 14. So that's how we do it. So the last example, 3x squared minus 2x plus 1. Right? In this case, coefficient of x squared is not 1. So chekutanga we factor out 3. So first stage kungo factor 3, just factoring 3 kunze chete tosiya zvakadaro. So tika factor 3 tinosara na x squared minus 2 over 3x plus 1 over 3. Then we add half a coefficient of x to the square. The half of coefficient of x in this case, if we divide 2 over 3 divided by 2, we get 2 over 6, which is 1 over 3. So minus 1 over 3 can we add the square. Number x minus 1 over 3 squared. To subtract half a coefficient of x from the square, taka square, which means minus 1 over 3. This ilipano hii ndio subtract up, taka square. Inenge iri apa hii ndio subtract up, taka square. Then 1 over 3 kumchete tangwa taura inokodzoka yakadero. So 3x minus 1 over 3 minus 1 over 9. If we expand, simplify up, 1 over minus 1 over 3 squared is 1 over 9. Note that guys, this negative ndio pa formula we ku subtract affect wine squared. Squared we ano affect negative uyu negative uyu ndio ano apa ndio ano affect one squared. Saka musazo affect negative uyu squared. Okay, then 1 over 3 odzoka kadaro. If we simplify, minus 1 over 9 plus 1 over 3 we get 2 over 9. So now takuda ku expand up, takuda kupinza 3 mukati, but not that fit guys apa 3 wedu uyu apinde mukati umu. haapinde mukati, anongomultiply osara ari kunze like izvezvo, atomultiply akadodai so. So 3 akamultiply x minus 1 over 3 squared, tinowana izvi. Then 3 akamultiply apa, if we multiply na 3 panapa, 3 anochekana na 9 panapa, nobva ita 2 over 3. So 3x minus 1 over 3 squared plus 2 over 3 will be our answer. So guys, pama quadratics, I think we are done. So chasara kuti tigozoenda mberi nema lessons edu. Saka for us guys, thank you for watching guys. Tisimudzirewo guys, tiri vamwe venyu, tisimudzirei tiende mberi nema videos edu. So vanoda kundibata vachibvunza ma questions akawanda, munokwanisa kundibata pa number 07831833381 pa WhatsApp, munokwanisa kundibata ipapo. Then vanokwanisa kuona live, munokwanisa kutiudza ma comments enyu pa YouTube, muchitipa ma questions amuda kuti tisolve. Tinokutendai guys, musakangana kusubscribe to our channel guys, mulike so that patinobudisa ma videos ndimi vanhu munotanga kuona ma notifications pa mafoni yenyu kuti tabudisa rimwe video. So tinokutendai guys, rabai muchititsigira.